Hey guys, welcome to our Keynotes. Until now, in the Hibernate playlist, I have uploaded three videos. The first video is about introduction to Hibernate, Hibernate versus JDBC, and the architecture of Hibernate. And then we have discussed advantages of Hibernate. The second video is about configuration of MySQL database in NetBeans. So you don't need to use Apache, and then you don't want to go to the PHP myadmin in browser, and then you don't want to create database and all. You can do all such things in NetBeans interface itself. So for that, you have to perform a configuration. So this thing I have demonstrated over here in the video. The third video is about how to connect with MySQL database and then how to insert records into the table using a Pojo class, getter, setter methods. So this is the most important video which you need to try if you have not tried yet. Let me know if you have any issues. Comment in the comment section. I'm there to help you out. Now, in the today's video, I'll talk about Hibernate annotations. So let's get started. If you have not subscribed yet, do subscribe my channel to get more updates. Now let's dive into the video. So Hibernate annotation is something that we are going to provide metadata of the object to the relational mapping table. So in the previous video, we have created Hibernate mapping file. In that, we have mapped all the properties, means the Pojo class variables are mapped with the column names of the table, right? So if you use annotations, you don't want to create Hibernate mapping file. You can skip that file. Only configuration file is required. So now what we're going to do is that we're going to map the column name of a table in Pojo class itself. So the developer can understand both the things, the table structure and also the Pojo class variables simultaneously. All right. So we're going to use these five annotations. At entity, we need to make the class as an entity. So we'll be using this annotation, and then at the rate table. So which table we are going to use, or on which table you have to insert records. And ID is for primary key, and then this generated value is for generating the continuous numbers. Like ID, if you keep ID as an auto incrementer, then the value should get generated, right? It is generated value, okay? And then at the rate column, in the sense which column you need to map from the table to the variable, so that you have to specify. There are a lot more annotations, but these five annotations are most important. Now, are you confused with like when to go for annotations, means when to skip the Hibernate mapping file, or when to use Hibernate mapping file? So the solution for this is over here. If you need portability of your application, then you go for annotations. But if you need great flexibility, then you should go for Hibernate mapping file, because Hibernate mapping file, HBM file, will give you a lot of flexibility, which means you can add a lot of uh, property kind of tags. And in case if in future, if you need to add lot many stuffs, then you can create the XML files where we can perform mappings. All right. So that's the only conclusion for this confusion. So now let's dive into the demonstration. Uh, so I'm going to create this table with 4 columns. You can see that the table name is employee, and I have set it as the ID column as auto increment, and the ID is primary key as well. Then I have first name, last name, and salary. So this is my project setup. You can see that I don't have Hibernate mapping file. I have only CFG file. Now this is my Pojo class, and this is my main class. Okay. So let me dive into before that, let me show you how the annotations are mapped. So now this is a Pojo class, you can see. And the most important thing is that you need to import this package, import java x.persistence.star. So these annotations, all these annotations comes from this persistent package. Okay. So, and I'm making this class as an entity, and then I'm connecting with this table. So I need to mention the table name. Then you can see that I have 4 column names, right? 4 columns in the table. So similarly, I have 4 variables: this ID, first name, last name, and salary. So I'm just mapping the column name of the table near just above the variable. You can see that at column and the name equal to ID. This we kept it as primary key, right? So that I want to use @ID, and then the value should be generated. So I'm saying generated value. So it will start seeding the values, okay, in a sequence. And the rest of the variables got mapped with the column names. And this is getter setter method, which we know we can generate it easily. Now let me dive to the NetBeans and then I'll show you the demonstration. Okay, first the thing is I have demonstrated how to create a database table from the scratch in the previous video. You should check it out. So let me start with this. The database name is retailer and I have a table name that is employee. Can you see that? And then I have 4 columns. And then let me just view data. Right now the table is empty. You can see that. Fine. So now table is created with 4 columns. And let's go to the project. This is my project, a name, Hibernate Annotation. And you can see that the first thing after creating the table, you have to create a Pojo class. Now let's open the Pojo class. You have to just right click and go Java class you have to create. Okay. So in the Pojo class, the most important thing is this package, persistent package you have to import. And whatever we have seen in the PPT, I have done the same, like entity, the class will act as an entity now. And then I'm referring the table name using @table. And then I'm using @rate ID and generated value. And then for this greenish things are variables. And then the at using @column, I'm mapping the column names of the table over here, here. That's it. And then you know how to generate this getter and setter methods. That's a simple step. You have to just right click and then you have to go to insert code and there you can select getter and setter methods. Okay, I have already generated, so that option is not visible here. Fine. After creating the Pojo class, you have to just create this CFG file configuration. Initially, you will not see this default package, so no need to worry about that. Just right click on source packages, new, and then you have to go and select this Hibernate configuration wizard. If it is not available here, you have to go here, other, and then scroll down, Hibernate you can select, and then here you have to select Hibernate configuration wizard and select next. In Hibernate configuration wizard, we used to map the database. Make it clear in your mind. So we have to select the database. Okay. So once you select the database and then click on finish, and then this Hibernate CFG file will get created. We will do nothing inside this. You can see that the code got automatically generated. Just create this file. That's it. So your database will get mapped into this. Now in Hibernate mapping file, we used to map the Pojo class and the table, right? But in this case, we are not going to create Hibernate mapping file because we know the reason, because we have used annotations and we have mapped the column names here itself. All right, fine. Now the last and most important step, that is the main class. Let me open this. So I have imported this org.hibernate.star. Okay. And then I'm using from util, I'm using iterator and list. But as of now, I don't require this. So what I did is there is a class, and then I kept this session factory as a static, and then inside the main method, I'm just creating using this factory reference, and I'm saying that the annotation configuration dot config dot add package, this com package will be added into this, and then which class I'm working with, that is I'm working with this employee Pojo. Fine. So that is the annotated class. I need to specify this, which class I have annotated. Okay. And then I'm saying build session factory. So I kept this inside the try block. In case of error, the catch block will catch the exception. Now I have a method here. You can see that add employee, and I'm having 3 such arguments over here. Fine. So now this is like for first name, last name, and then salary. We know those steps after the session configuration. Then we have to open the session, and then I'm setting all those things null initially, like transaction and the employee ID, and then you have to begin the transaction. So session dot begin transaction, and then you need to create the object for the Pojo class. Okay, using the reference that is the employee here, and we are using the set methods. This is similar to the previous example which we have seen, but in the previous video I have inserted the values over here. Means at one instance I can insert only one value, right? But in this case I don't want to do that. I want to insert multiple values, so I keep this code generic so that I'm passing these things like first name, last name, and these parameters got passed. Okay, now, and then I'm saying without using any query, hibernate query language, I'm just saying session dot save. So this there are many methods like save, delete, update methods were available, and merge. So few more methods were available from the session object, so we can directly use it. And then finally I'm saying commit. All right, the moment I do this, so all the changes will get saved. That's it. For my confirmation, I'm just printing this particular message done, and then this is a catch block. Right. Now I'm just in this, I have created the object for the main class also, right? You can see that manage employee, and then the reference name is ME. So I kept three variables over here, ID 1, 2, 3, and I'm saying that reference name ME dot, the method name is add employee, and then I'm passing those values. So in this case, three values will get inserted at one instance. Okay, so let's do that now. So with this, run, and then it is printing done. All right, now let me go back to the table, and then I'll view data. You can see that initially the table was empty, and then now it has inserted all the three records. Now if I further run the same code, and then now I just need to view data again, so you can see that another set of records got inserted. Fine. That's it. So I hope that you understood what is annotation. Hope this is clear for you. If you like the video, hit the like button. Don't forget to subscribe my channel. In the next video, we will implement HQL operations, that is Hibernate query language, and then we will implement CRUD operations using Hibernate framework. Thank you, and thanks for watching the video.